Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abu Ahmed Patel. I'm a student of BA third year, and today the topic of my seminar is Marxist literary theory. So let's get started. Marxist literary theory. Basically, it's a form of critical discourse for interrogating all societies and their texts in terms of certain specific issues. What are these issues? Including race, class, and the attitude shared within the given structure. So it specifically focuses on the distinction between the races and classes and how the operation works in it. And it's also interrogating all the societies in terms of their texts. So how is it gone up to here? Historical development of it. Karl Heinrich Marx and Friedrich Engels, they both were friends and they were both were German writers, philosophers, social critics, and they also co-authored the book, The Communist Manifesto, declared that the capitalist or the bourgeoisie, which is Bhandwaldar as we speak in our mother tongue, had successfully enslaved the working class or the proletariat through economic policies and control of the production of the goods. So he declared that the capitalist or the bourgeoisie class has successfully enslaved the working class or the proletariat through economic policies and control of the production of the goods. Next slide. So who was Karl Marx? He was born in Trier, in Germany in 1818. He was a German philosopher who rejected the tenets of Romanticism in favor of philosophy of dialectic materialism. And he also criticized the injustice inherent in the European class or capitalist system that was the effect of the industrialism of the economic operating in the 19th century. And he also believed that the capitalism allowed the bourgeoisie to benefit at the expense of the workers. He wrote the book The Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital, the most famous of his books, in which the Das Kapital analyzes the capitalist form of wealth production and its consequences for culture. And in Das Kapital, he analyzes how the capitalists govern the culture through their economic prowess. Uh, in Marxist criticism, there are some assumptions like a superstructure and a base. So let's see what it is with the help of an example. In America, for example, the capitalists exploit the working class, determine their salaries and working condition, and the other elements of their lives. So basically, the capitalists are governing the other class or the working classes. From this base arises the superstructure, multitude of social and legal institutions, political and education systems, religious beliefs, values, and a body of art and literature that one social class uses to keep members of the working class in check. So, with the base of this working condition and other elements like salaries and economic condition, all that arises a superstructure. Superstructure comprises of legal institutions, political and education system, religious beliefs, values, and body of art and literature that one social class uses. One social class, which is that social class? It's the capitalist. They use it to keep members of the working class in check. So they are controlling the working class. Next one. So, how Marxist criticism works? So, the Marxist critic will check the author's social class, from which class the authors belong, and its effects upon the author's society, examining the history and the culture of the times as reflected in the text, and also to investigate how the author either correctly or incorrectly pictures this historical period. Because in Marxism, Karl Marx studies the history as the clash between the two classes. One is oppressed class and the other is oppressing the prior class. So, so Marxist literary theory or criticism focuses on the representation of class distinction and class conflict in the literature. As I said before, it focuses mainly on class conflict in the literature, and it is dialecticism. Uh, the Greek philosopher Hegel has his what we can say that his prabhav on Karl Marx and dialecticism, and it focuses more on social and political elements than artistic and visual, that is, aesthetic elements of a text. So Karl Marx and his Marxist literary theory focuses mainly on the social and political elements, how the social structure works, what kind of classes are there, what kind of political structure is there, who rules who has the power, like that. So there are some questions raised by the Marxist literary lens. First is, does the work propose some form of utopian vision as a solution to the problems encountered in the work? That means the particular work that it's analyzing, does it have any kind of utopian vision? Utopian means uh, universal, we can say that universal administration or universal something. Does it have the utopian vision as a solution of the problems encountered in the work? So does the author have any solution for the problems he has written in his work? Second one, in what ways does the work serve as the propaganda for the status quo, or does it try to undermine it? It also studies that, is it a propaganda for some class or not? Does the literature reflect the author's own class or analysis of class relations? Basically, he is asking that, does the literature reflects the author's own class? If author's own class has its effect on the class relation, or his uh, writing in his book or his book. So key terms in the Marxist literary criticism is proletariat, which means the working class, the bourgeoisie, which means the capitalist class, the industrialist, capitalism, materialism, classism, and commodification. So that's about the Marxist literary criticism. Thank you all.